As a light worker, you may already have somewhat of a sense that this is not an ordinary path that you're now walking up on. Maybe you're just recently figured out or uncovered that you're a light worker, or maybe you're not even quite sure if you are considered a light worker. But either way, you probably have that in a sense that there's more to who you are. There's more that is being asked of you, and maybe you would like to know a little bit more about what exactly does it mean to really embrace your path as a light worker and your role in all this. And in this video today, I want to share with you some insights into what does it really mean to be a light worker, to walk up on this path, and also how to really then step into what you are meant to be doing, into that soul's calling of a light worker, because you are here to make an impact. That's basically the role of a light worker. You're here to make an impact. You're here to bring the light back into the world. However, in order to get to that point, there are certain things that you are meant to experience, to go through, to really walk up on this path, to really help you learn the things that you are meant to be learning, to really embrace that path. And that's what I would like to shed some light on in this video today. Now, before I share with you those things, I do want you to know that being a light worker is absolutely amazing, because you do get to then do what deeply fulfills you. You get to make an impact in the world. You get to make a difference in the world. You get to actually help other people. And even if it's not something on a greater scale, but still you doing your own work, you walking your path as a light worker has a beautiful ripple effect. So before I share with you those things, this is one thing I really want you to know, because the path of a light worker is not always easy. And if you're already on this path, you may have already noticed that, even though it's great, there are also a lot of things about this path that isn't always the best and can often be very challenging. So let me share with you this. So the first thing I want you to know is that being a light worker, walking on this path of a light worker, can be very lonely at times, because not everyone will understand what you're going through. Not everyone will resonate with what you're going through, because as you are awakening, not everyone around you awakens at the same time as you. Many don't even awaken at all. They're just so deeply into this old paradigm that they're resisting their own awakening. So you may then actually feel like you don't belong, that you don't have anyone that you can connect with, that understands what you're going through. So there's this period of being alone, really going this path on your own, whether it's because you don't have anyone that really understands, or even because you may feel like you don't belong, so you're pulling away. And this is actually, even though it can be quite challenging and quite lonely, but it opens you up to really spend more time with yourself, because as you're awakening, you have got to know yourself again on a deeper level. And when you're always around other people, you're always distracted, right? So even though being alone can be quite challenging for many, but when you really embrace this and lean into this, you actually then have more time to really spend on really getting to know yourself on a deeper level, which is necessary for you to really find yourself, and to also for you to do your own inner work. Which brings me to the second part here, is that you may then also go through a period of immense challenges, darkness, and obstacles and adversities, where you're really being tested on so many levels. And here too, even though you may go through this intense period of absolute challenges or whatnot, this too is necessary for you to wake up even more, to do your own healing, because anything that is coming up, anything that you're experiencing that is not pleasant, it's actually showing you what requires healing within you. Because the more you heal, the more you peel back the layers, the more you actually wake up and really step into your true self, your true path of this beautiful light worker. Because in order to really make that impact in the world, you have to go through your own stuff. You have to heal deeply. And the path of a light worker, like I said, it is not an easy one. And many light workers, they choose to just play around. They're not really doing the work. They're calling themselves a light worker. And this is not to, I don't want to step on any toes here, but I just want you to understand that some light workers that you come across, They may not even be willing to do what it really takes to really embrace this role of a light worker. Because if you embrace this role, then yes, you go deep, you take responsibility, you're really going deep in clearing and healing and releasing. And like I said, it is not always pretty. It is not always easy. And you may even get to a point sometimes when you just really just want to give up. It's like, I want a timeout. I'm out. I resign. I don't want this no more. Believe me, I've been there many, many times. But even though, and that's why at the beginning I shared with you that how beautiful it is and how powerful it is to really be the light worker, to do this kind of work, because there were many times when I really hit rock bottom on my journey of really awakening, and I wanted like, screw that, I'm done with this, don't want to do this anymore. But I kept going, and I'm so glad that I did. When I look back now, yes, there were times when I really didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I've made it through it, and I came out a much more empowered version of myself, a more awakened version of myself, a person that is, that loves more deeply, that cares more deeply, that has that open heart. And that's what I want to invite you, even though being a light worker isn't always easy. And that's why I want to share these things with you in this video, to shed some light on this, because like I said, there are certain light workers that are only scratching the surface of what is truly possible for them because they're not going deep. And here I hope you are one of the light workers that really does your work, because it's necessary. And once you do your work, once you really go deep and heal deeply, there are certain things where you have to heal about past lives and inner wounds, inner child, the shadow. There's so many aspects that require healing for you to finally wake up to the truth of who you are. And that in itself can be quite challenging. But I want to invite you to keep moving forward, to keep doing your work, because that in itself will have a ripple effect, will make a difference, because it will impact every single person in your life. Even though they're not even doing anything, not doing any healing, or they're not really on this path of awakening, you doing your own work will have such a beautiful ripple effect that it positively affects them too. Then eventually they may then feel called to have their own awakening, to follow their own awakening path. And even if not, but it helps them as well. But then also, because of all the things that you're going through, the challenges, the adversities, there will also be a lot that you're going to be learning, whether it's from modalities because you want to help yourself, or you want to just learn certain things because you're feeling drawn to that. You're also having many experiences that will teach you a lot as well. So on your path of really embracing the path of a light worker, there will be much that you will be learning. When I think back of how I started out with EFT. No, I started with Reiki, then EFT, then Akashic Records, then light language, and in between also the coaching. And then I learned so many other things. I have taken courses and read books and all of those different things that has given me what I needed to really make it through my dark night of the soul, which lasted about 2 years, by the way. So it was 2 years of intense darkness for me. And during that time, yes, there were times when, like I said, I didn't think I would see the light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't think there would be a solution to that. But I kept going, I kept learning, I kept healing, I kept experiencing things. And here I want you to know is that as you're going through this, you will experience things that will blow your mind. I have grown so much because of my path, because of my journey, where I experienced, like I remember the very first time when I had higher beings come to me and channel through me. That in itself, now of course is like, okay, it's normal. But at that first time, it blew my mind. I was sitting like, oh my God, these higher beings came to me. They chose to speak through me. And you will experience that too if you're actually doing your work. And you may have already had those mind-blowing experiences. I would love to know, have you had those mind-blowing experiences already where you experienced something that you never thought you would experience? If you were to tell me back then, all the experience that I've had up until this point, I would have told you you're crazy, honestly, because it was truly like that. There were things that I experienced because of my path that truly blew my mind, that I would have never thought possible. And that is possible for you too, as you're really embracing your path of a light work. And I'm pretty sure you've already had some instances of this. And if you've been on your path of being a light worker for some time, you most likely have had absolutely amazing experiences where it really makes all the difficult times well worth it, because you're experiencing things you never thought possible, or that you never even thought you would ever experience. And the thing is, all the things that you're learning, all of those challenges that you're going through, they're actually necessary for you to help you find your path. Because if you weren't to experience the things that you're experiencing, and this is what you're meant to be doing, you wouldn't be able to help other people. For me, it was about abundance, about really embracing my spiritual path, about really diving deep into that and overcoming my own limiting beliefs. That is like what I struggled with the most. Well, now this is what I get to do with my clients. I get to help them break free from their limitations, their past experience, the blocks, the limitations, and really help them be the rebel and step into their power. And that's because I had to do that myself. So I want to invite you to look back at all the things that you experienced throughout your life. They're really the adversities, the challenges. And it could be that it happened multiple times, just in different degrees. And they all helped you to learn something. The biggest lessons I had to learn was to surrender and to allow money to flow. I used to have a lot of money troubles back in the day. And for me, that was like one thing that I had to really learn, to really surrender to this beautiful higher power. Now I no longer worry about where the clients are coming from, where the money is going to come from, or anything like that. But I had to learn that. And it was a very, very difficult journey for me to learn. But now I get to help my clients on that level as well. So just know that anything that you're experiencing throughout your life, the hardships, the challenges, the ups and downs, and all of that will help you learn what you're meant to then help other people with. You will then learn about different modalities. You will then learn about different solutions. You will uncover different things, which will then all be the tools that will then help you then help others. You will then also on this journey, you will have that deep inner sense that there's so much more for you, that you're meant to do something more, something very, very important, that you have that inner knowing that you play a very important role in this life, that you hold a very important purpose. And that then also causes you to then really do that soul searching, looking for answers, like what am I here to do? What is it that I'm meant to be doing? I have a lot of clients that come to me for an Akashic record reading to find out their life purpose, because they want to know, well, what is it that I'm here to do? And whenever they're getting their reading, they're having that somewhat of a roadmap that, of course, they're maybe not quite stepping into that yet, but they're having that roadmap. Okay, yes, that resonates. That's what I'm here to do. And then they have that roadmap to move forward. And if you would like to have such a reading, there's a link in the description below. You can check out the Life Purpose Activator reading, where I will give you guidance around what is it that you're meant to do in great details, and also what is holding you back as well. So if that is of interest to you, the link is in the description below. But there will be times when, and you may have already are on this path of like really soul searching, what is it that I'm here to do? You know there's something so much more evolved that's possible for you, that you're meant to step into. And that also comes because you are on this path. You're not just sitting there waiting for things to happen, but it's like because you are in motion, things are happening, things are moving along. And that's when you're feeling that, like that drive, like, okay, I gotta find out what it is that I'm meant to be doing. And that's your soul nudging you to move forward. And then one day, you will get the insights. Once you have grown ready enough, you will get the insights. Whether it's maybe you are requesting a reading, a Akashic record reading, or you're just getting the glimpses. You know, as you are growing ready, you will get the insights. Piece by piece, you will get the insights from your soul, from your team of guides, from around you. Maybe you're hearing something like, oh my God, that resonates deeply with me. And then you're going after it, whether it's like modalities that you want to learn or anything like that. But once you're growing ready for that next step will then present itself. But like I said, you have got to do your own inner work. That is really important as you are on this journey or in this path of really embracing being a light worker. Because you do hold a very important purpose and mission in this lifetime. But it's for you to do your work so you can find out what that is. As you're in motion, as you're moving forward, all the puzzle pieces will then come about, will come together, and then give you then the insights that you need to really step into that role of a light worker and making the impact. Now, on another level is you also will have to overcome a lot. And that's the unfortunate truth here. You have to overcome a lot of the self-doubt, limiting beliefs, the fears, the past life experience, or even past experience that are still lingering and having somewhat of a negative hold on you. You also have to overcome those naysayers, like whether it's you have family tell you, oh, get real, get a real job, you know, all that nonsense is not going to work anyways, right? And things like that. You also have to overcome those dream crushers, because just because they don't understand or see that it's possible to create a very beautiful and lucrative business or whatever it is that you feel called to do with doing your soul's work, just because they can't see it doesn't mean that it's not possible, because there's so many spiritual mentors out there, spiritual teachers and healers and psychics and intuitives that are making a very, very lucrative income doing their soul's work. And it is not even work, it is joy. Whatever I do, it is not work. I love doing what I do. So it is not work for me. I enjoy doing these videos. I enjoy working with my clients. It puts a smile on my face. It feeds my soul. Right? So, but you will also have to overcome those naysayers, those dream crushers. You also have to overcome your own internal self-sabotage, because you're maybe afraid of really stepping out there, putting yourself out there, and those type of things. And even past life things, karmic things, soul contracts, negative patterns, all of that you will have to overcome as well on your path of really stepping into what you're here to do. And it doesn't mean that you have to spend years of just inner healing and soul searching. No, it's as you are in motion, you know, as you're moving forward, things will come up, and you're working with the energy of what comes up in the moment. Whenever you are going through a hard time, well, you just do your work, but you keep moving forward. It doesn't mean that you can do what really feeds your soul until you are healed, until you have, you know, arrived at the destination. I'm still going through my healing journey. I'm still healing deeply. I'm still doing my inner work. But in the process of doing that, I also work with my clients, because I'm taking them with me. I'm helping them. Whatever I experience, I can share with them. I can teach them. So I'm doing the work so I can learn from my own experience and then pay it forward to my clients as well. So just know that every light worker is going through this. It has gone through really difficult times. But like I mentioned at the very beginning, but at the end of all of that, it's all well worth it, because when you have come through the worst, and I mean any spiritual awakening is challenging and many, many times, but as you're then stepping into your role of truly being a light worker, you feel that deep sense of gratitude, that inner peace, like you feel like you have come home. You feel that love, that joy, that happiness, that deep inner fulfillment, because you have finally woken up enough to really connect with your true self, do the work of your soul, and then even make the impact that you're meant to be making. So I hope I didn't scare you too much, but it has to be shared, you know, because there are things about being a light worker that many don't talk about. And I want you to know about this. I want you to be aware that, for one, if you're experiencing any of that, you're not alone. Okay, I've been through it. Every single light worker has gone through the things that I shared with you to different degrees. You know, some they're just going through it and it's barely, you know, affecting them, and some it's very intense. And the more you do the work, you know, it can be quite intense, but still at the end of the day, it is well worth it, because it will help you awaken more, and it will help you step into the role of being a light worker and making the impact. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. Maybe leave me a comment below and let me know. Have you experienced any of the things that I shared with you? And what is your path of being a light worker like? I would love to know. Leave me a comment below. So thank you so much for being here. Now be sure to check out this video here. It's about the 7 different types of light workers, because there are many different light worker types of what they're doing. If you want to get some information around that. But I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant, successful day. Namaste.